Leaders from 54 Commonwealth African countries, including Nigeria, are in Kigali, Rwanda, for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. The gathering is expected to address common issues affecting this country, issues such as security matters, economic development, and social growth. With 8 years to go until the full global achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, the heads of government at the meeting are expected to pledge their commitment to working together to help eradicate poverty and infrastructure deficiency among Commonwealth nations.
After 2 years of separation, now we are back together, and we can see more clearly than ever that what we have in common is more important than that which divides us. Every hour of every day, the Commonwealth is working together through the exchange of knowledge and information to transform the lives of millions of people, for women and girls, and for men and boys, of their families and communities too.
The predominantly female online bullying, sexual exploitation and violence across the world, it seems that obstacles to equality have multiplied, mutated, and evolved. Ladies and gentlemen, the last Commonwealth Women's Forum held in London in 2018, in its stock-taking, acknowledged that despite concerted effort to transform the subordinate position of women and girls in society, and notwithstanding progress made thus far towards gender equality, the advancement of women and girls was slow.
The meeting is expected to provide innovative solutions that will enable the Commonwealth countries to deliver on their common future.
I think as a society we have to go back to the very beginning. The foundation of equitable societies is education, and without education we don't have them. If you look at the research for the past 30 years across country, across continent, the research is unequivocal. When women are educated through secondary school, it's not primary school, it's secondary school. Infant mortality declines, child mortality declines, malnutrition declines.
This Chogm is our opportunity to build on our Commonwealth advantage, our similar systems of democratic governance, of common law, of shared language, of compatible institutions to drive progress for which we all hunger and thirst. Our ability to bring together leaders and ministers, civil society, and change makers is unique. As we meet in Kigali, we must be honest about the challenges we face, and we must be confident in our ability to seize the moment and build something better.
The event in Kigali is the 6th Chogm meeting being hosted in Africa. The week-long summit will attract over 5,000 participants from government, business, civil society under the theme Delivering a Common Future, Connecting, Innovating, and Transforming. Resolutions at the different fora will form part of the common agreements the leaders will consider at the meeting. As these leaders continue to talk about the common interests affecting the Commonwealth countries, resolutions at the different fora in the course of these meetings will be announced and then form part of the agreements that will be reached at the end of this meeting.
This is the Commonwealth family. This is what is gathered for the next few days to celebrate and to create a future, and a big future, for the Commonwealth. And this is proper business. This is how it is done. Interaction, network, discussing and trading together.
Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland said that the cost of trading among Commonwealth nations is 21% lower on the average, while investment flow is 27% higher than other countries. However, Commonwealth nations are faced with challenges impacting on their economies.
We have identified 5 pillars. The first, digital connectivity cluster. Then there's the physical connectivity cluster, the regulatory connectivity cluster, the supply side connectivity cluster, and the business-to-business connectivity cluster. Each of these pillars are led by our member states. And I am happy to inform you that substantial progress has been made to boost intra-Commonwealth trade and investment, and this pathway will lead us to our goal of $2 trillion in intra-Commonwealth trade by 2030.
Both the Rwandan President Paul Kagame and the African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina stated that the Commonwealth nations will not share a common future until the nations share a common vision with good leadership.
We need to keep making sure that the Commonwealth, when we talk about the Commonwealth, we actually mean the Commonwealth, not just that being common to a few of the many 54 countries. So, and this is why I said it keeps being a work in progress. We keep having to engage one another, finding out what we can do to bring that balance to the extent that everyone in the Commonwealth, the family of nations, feels they are part of it. Right. No one is left behind. I think this is what we have to focus on.
The size of the economy of the Commonwealth will grow, it's about $13 trillion. Now, but the issue is, it's concentrated though. 5 countries are the ones that actually control most of those. That is UK, that is Australia, Canada, maybe Nigeria and India. So that common future must be exactly what President Kagame said, Commonwealth. It must be well shared all across. The second one is also that the common future must be the future of the youth. And when I was just watching up there, and you said 60% of the population of the Commonwealth is less than the age of 29. So the future is here. So we got to make sure that we build the Commonwealth for the youth. It's 73 years old, but it's actually a very young Commonwealth. When we talk about a common future needs good leadership to shape that future. And that's what you have here.
As the Business Forum opens, leaders of the Commonwealth nations have agreed to rethink, re-strategize policies and actions that will reconnect the Commonwealth nations in a way that it will break business barrier and enhance their economic growth. The Commonwealth People's Forum is one of the special fora where delegates meet to discuss issues affecting Commonwealth member states, especially issues affecting the people of the Commonwealth.
We are the people, and we are here for good governance, health justice, and climate justice.
The People's Forum at this meeting is focusing on pushing for a policy action that builds a resilient and equitable national health systems, claiming justice and leadership for change in the Commonwealth, while expressing concerns about how the Commonwealth nations can build and sustain the institution that will secure the kind of governance capable of delivering for everyone. The forum charged people in the Commonwealth countries to stand up and be a part of the solution to the challenges confronting their countries.
The world will not wait too long for us to cast off our old, tired ways. A new social contract, one based on a shared commitment to inclusive, accountable governance, may be the only protection on offer against the threats that are likely to kill us, destroy our freedoms, or compromise the future of our planet. Let us take up this challenge and run with it as hard and as fast as we can.
Universal health care and global health security or health preparedness are two sides of the same coins. The failure of the institutions that were built to protect, to deliver for communities around the world could not do it. So with that background, when you think about what do governments do, what are the lessons, how do we ensure? For me, the biggest lesson out of that is while global coordination and institutions are incredible, and we are part of a global family, and the SDGs pull us together. At the end of the day, services are delivered locally. And what we have seen with the pandemic, especially in this continent, is institutions like African Union and African CDC really stepped up to pull their act together in an unprecedented way to fight institutions so that we are no longer at the mercy of donors.
The Commonwealth People's Forum at the ongoing Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting says its focus is the role the Commonwealth people must play in building their own future through a good governance system.
We are, together we will rise, together we will rise.
The Commonwealth People's Forum condemned the system of government where there is injustice and equitable distribution of wealth and resources among the Commonwealth countries, especially for the people, leading to poverty, social injustice, and the rest of other social vices within the Commonwealth communities and indeed among the people. This forum is determined to push forward policy and decisions, including actions that will change the trajectory.
Human health, planetary health, and economic health are fundamentally interconnected. Climate change is causing the length of the malaria transmission season to increase in many parts of the globe.
The world made a new commitment at the Kigali Declaration to tackling malaria and neglected tropical diseases that affect more than 1.7 billion people globally. This new declaration, totaling more than $1.8 billion, will be used. Commonwealth leaders, multilateral organizations, and their partners gathered to pledge their commitment towards eradicating malaria, neglected tropical diseases at a high-level session held at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali. The commitment is contained in the Kigali Declaration on ending malaria and neglected tropical diseases that will require the endorsement of member states.
The country-led high-burden to high-impact approach launched in 2018 by WHO and the rollback by RBM partnership was adopted by Nigeria and should reignite the pace. It is in furtherance of this that the establishment of a high-level multi-sectoral End Malaria Council has been approved to ensure domestic and public-private resource mobilization and keep malaria high on our political agenda.
On malaria and NTDs, because of COVID, there are disruptions. And because of the disruptions, what we have gained the last few years, we're losing them now. So, as a result, we're off track from SDGs. I think even before COVID, it was the same, but now even more off track. So we need more commitment, more political commitment, more energy going forward. Then maybe a few areas where I believe we need to focus is, one, we have to focus on health promotion and disease prevention. That has to be at the center. And then for that to happen, building primary health care is important. So we should focus on building primary health care. Primary health care is not the institution alone or the facilities, but primary health care is closer to the community, and primary health care means community empowerment, community engagement, and especially involving the youth and making sure that the youth owns the programs.
The $18 billion commitment is expected to replenish the global fund for fighting AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria. It will also help to deliver the target set in the World Health Organization NTD roadmap for 2021 to 2030.
No nation and no organization that can do this work alone. So for our part at the Gates Foundation, we're stepping up our commitment and we're pledging $140 million over the next 4 years to support African institutions in fighting malaria.
Neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, and malaria affect more than 1.7 billion people globally. The global commitment at the Kigali Declaration is expected to help in the fight against these preventable and curable diseases.
We will invest over £370 million in global food security this year, including £130 million for the World Food Programme. We want to work alongside our Commonwealth friends to understand your needs, your priorities, and to deliver joint solutions to a crisis that Putin has deliberately engineered.
Today, as we gather in the midst of new and decisive shifts in our world, it is imperative that those values shape the choices we will make in the hours and days ahead. The economic damage of COVID and mounting debt confront us all. The rapid intensification of climate change poses an existential threat. The tremors of conflict and instability in our world, the spiraling costs of food and fuel, and economic uncertainty threaten a serious and protracted crisis. This Chogm is first and foremost an opportunity to find answers to these questions. It will not be easy.
The week-long Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali opened with a theme, delivering a common feature, connecting, innovating, and transforming. Addressing journalists at the closing session, the Rwandan President Paul Kagame, the Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, said that leaders agreed on modalities that will facilitate a full recovery from COVID-19 pandemic, achieve the 2030 agenda, and respond to conflicts and crises in ways that will enhance development among member states.
As chair in office, we look forward to working towards strengthening the partnerships within the Commonwealth for the benefit of all our citizens.
We affirmed the importance of equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines as a key to global recovery from the pandemic. We discussed Commonwealth priorities around governance, human rights, the rule of law, sustainability, and the key issues related to trade and economic growth. And we reflected on the particular impact these challenges have on our small states. You'll know that of the 54 countries in the Commonwealth, 32 are small states.
The body at the closing session admitted Togo and Gabon into the Commonwealth family. Rwanda was the last country to join the Commonwealth in 2009. The next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting will hold in Samoa, an island in the Oceania. The Commonwealth is now a voluntary association of 56 independent and equal sovereign states with a combined population of more than 2.5 billion people. After a week-long meeting of the leaders of the 54 Commonwealth countries here in Kigali, they have come to agree on one simple fact, that it is important that the Commonwealth nations should work together in the best interest of the Commonwealth countries, develop their economy, provide resources that will enhance the lives of the people of the Commonwealth nations.